What's up, pinheads? Welcome back to Psychopinion. Today we're diving into some of the wildest horror movie facts ever put on film. Some of these sound completely fake, but they're absolutely real. We're talking censorship, controversy, gore, profanity, and the tiny little moments in horror history that completely changed movies forever. Because believe it or not, horror movies didn't just scare audiences, they changed cinema itself. And some of the things we see in movies every single day were once considered shocking, disgusting, or even dangerous. So let's jump on in. So here's one that sounds ridiculous today. Psycho from 1960 was one of the first American films to show a toilet flushing on screen. Yes, that was controversial. Not the murder, not Norman Bates, not the shower scene, the toilet. It tells you everything about how different Hollywood used to be. Back then, movies were controlled by something called the Hays Code. Basically, Hollywood censorship on steroids. You couldn't show too much violence, sexual content, profanity, drug use, or honestly anything that sounded remotely fun. And somehow, Alfred Hitchcock showing a flushing toilet became a huge deal because censors thought it was vulgar. Imagine showing those people Terrifier 3. Their souls would leave their bodies immediately. What makes this even crazier is that Psycho didn't just change horror, it changed filmmaking itself. Hitchcock was constantly testing censorship boundaries, and the famous shower scene, people think they saw way more than they actually did. The editing, music, and quick cuts tricked audiences into feeling violence that technically wasn't even shown directly, which honestly proves imagination is something scarier than gore. And that's something horror has always done. Horror movies are usually the first genre willing to test censorship, social boundaries, violence, taboo subjects, and audience comfort levels. Horror walks into Hollywood like, what's the worst thing we're allowed to do? And then immediately tries to do worse. Night of the Living Dead in 1968, George Romero, one of my favorites, basically looked at movie rules and said, nah. The film shocked audiences because of graphic violence, flesh-eating, bleak realism, and social commentary. Modern zombie horror basically exists because of Romero. That is a fact.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Before that, zombies were usually goofy voodoo monsters. Romero turned them into rotting cannibal apocalypse nightmares, and the violence felt real for the time. Audiences weren't prepared for people eating human flesh, brutal deaths, and hopeless endings. The movie helped push Hollywood toward the MPAA rating system we know today. Then Texas Chainsaw Massacre came along in 1974, and people thought civilization was ending. What's wild is the movie actually contains less gore than people remember, but the atmosphere is so filthy and chaotic that your brain fills in the blanks. The screaming, the sound design, the heat, the insanity. It feels more violent than movies that show 10 times more blood. That's part of why it still works today. The Exorcist, in this movie, absolutely traumatized people in theaters. We're talking fainting, vomiting, panic attacks, ambulances outside theaters, and one major reason, the profanity. Today, nobody even blinks at swearing in movies. But hearing a child speaking with graphic profanity in 1973, that shocked audiences in a completely different way. It still feels uncomfortable now, which is probably why The Exorcist still works over 50 years later. So what I would like to do is ask you to go ahead and please comment below. I've got a few questions for you that I would like your answers to. What horror movie did you think changed cinema the most? Could old audiences handle modern horror? Was older censorship ridiculous or necessary? What modern movie would completely destroy audiences from the 1960s? Is atmosphere scarier than gore? What movie pushed boundaries the best? Please comment below. Horror has always been the genre willing to cross the lines first, whether it was violence, profanity, taboo subjects, disturbing imagery, or even flushing a toilet. Horror constantly pushes cinema forward by asking, what are audiences not ready for yet? That's probably why horror survives every generation, because fear changes, but controversy never dies. Like, subscribe, and stick around, because here on Psychopinion, we're digging up all the weird horror history Hollywood tried to bury. See you soon.